ASMR in the best possible timeline. Today's episode is super important. It is about one of my favorite subjects, Johnny Depp. More specifically, today I'm going to be talking about a very ridiculous idea I had for a TV show called The Adventures of Johnny Depp's Dog. I'm going to move this a little bit. Okay, so gosh, I'm so scared of this Yeti. Anyway, the point is, a couple years ago, I had an idea for a cartoon, and I'm just going to talk about it today. So, first, this is the muse for the cartoon, and the star of it. His name is Jacques, like Jacques Cousteau, or Jacques, the inventor of the bikini. And The Adventures of Johnny Depp's Dog started when someone I knew drew a picture of Jacques, and he was so overweight and like not cute at all, and I was so offended. And I was like, how dare you? You know, my dog, he likes a good snack because he's French, but he has this sort of air of affluence and existential angst about him now in his later years. He's 13 right now. So I was like, he likes a good snack, but he's got this like sexy French thing always. And so he would be more like what you imagine Johnny Depp's dog would be like. And then my friend came back and drew a picture of Jacques with a beret smoking a cigarette, and I was like, much better. And that just, like, from there, it just launched this ridiculous idea for a TV show. So Jacques is, I've had Jacques for ever since he was like 2 months old, and Jacques had like the best puppyhood in the world. I used to work at a Buddhist retreat center in the wedding department, and Jacques could come with me. I worked all the time. I worked like crazy hours, but Jacques could come with me most days. I didn't usually bring him on wedding days, but that was like once, maybe twice a week. We did destination wedding retreats, so he would be with me, and it was on this gorgeous redwood, acres and acres of land. It's actually where they filmed the Ewok village. Super gorgeous, and I would just let him run around the forest, and he could always come to my office. Even if I wasn't there, the door was open, his bed was there, he had food and water, and all the nice Buddhist people would be like, oh, I saw Jacques down by the lake, or I saw Jacques over, by the Sangha, I saw Jacques here, there. And he would just run around, and he was so happy. And then after that, I went to law school, and we lived right by the beach in Santa Monica, and I would take him every morning, and we would go rollerblading on the promenade, or all the way to Venice, and both would be super empty, super fun. And Jacques really, he loves adventure. We'd go to hiking to waterfalls all the time. So he had a really amazing puppyhood, and like even his later years. I remember one time when we lived in New Orleans, we were at a park not too far from where we lived, Audubon Park, and it started just torrential downpour. In New Orleans, it'll be like that. It's like nice and sunny, and then all of a sudden, it's like black clouds and crazy rain, and we ran all the way home in the pouring rain. You remember that, Bill? And it was so so fun. He's French. Romantique. Anyway, but now that he's older, and we go on less adventures for a long time because I was sick, and then as soon as I started to feel better, he hurt his ACL, and now we can't go like anywhere at all. So he definitely has this like lament about him, and that is like where The Adventures of Depp's dog started from was this picture of Jacques in a beret smoking a cigarette with kind of like a sad, lamenting expression. And from there, we just painted this entire world. Yeah, so I'm just gonna get into the world that we created. It was an alternate universe where Bernie Sanders beat Hillary for the primary, and then he wins the election, and he ends up pouring a bunch of money into medical research. And when COVID pops up, he's like, oh, we already have a coronavirus vaccine, and everybody gets a vaccine, and like the whole pandemic is avoided. And there's this juxtaposition between our obsession with celebrity culture, meaning, like the individual quest for meaning within this particular celebrity's life and the lives of those around him, and actually important world news events. So the very first episode starts with the song "The Rise of the Valkyries," right? And it's like breaking news, and the anchor person talks about how Johnny Depp's trailer is being moved to a location for his next film, and there's like helicopters moving this massive trailer, and the person is explaining that the reason why the trailer is being moved is because Johnny Depp is really deliberate about cultivating a sense of safety and security for his beloved animals that live within the trailer. So, I hope I can't get in trouble for any of this. I mean, obviously, all of this is just ridiculous ideas that I had, and has little to nothing to do with actual Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, because the reason why Johnny Depp is obsessed with like creating this sense of security for his animals is because Amber Heard, in like a drunken rage, drove her car over Johnny Depp's dog's mom, killed the mom, and gave Johnny Depp's dog like amnesia, and he was in a coma, and he's better now, but he still has a hard time discerning memories from reality, or at least he thinks he does, because of Dr. Zayas. Who is Dr. Zayas? Dr. Zayas is Johnny Depp's monkey, and he wears a waistcoat, and he looks a little bit like Freud with like Johnny Depp spectacles, and he has a split personality and an alcohol problem. Sorry about the neighbor's dogs in the background. So he considers himself, he's like a self-proclaimed British analyst, and he can often be found in the library. And when he's in the library, because he's a little tiny monkey, it looks like he's in a big, massive library, but really he's just hanging out like in a bookcase inside of Johnny Depp's trailer. And he's constantly like projecting all of his neuroses onto other people, and he steals people's medication in order to prescribe it. So he's like, Amber comes over, he goes through her purse, steals all her medicine, and then he starts prescribing it to like the Bush baby for his anxiety and stuff. That's another character. So each episode, actually, before the Rise of the Valkyries, I'm doing such a bad job explaining this, starts out with a quote like the TV show Wilfred. It's actually like a lot like Wilfred. I love Wilfred. So it starts out with like a philosophical quote that's going to be explored within that episode. So silly. I can't even believe I'm trying to tell you guys this story. I hope it's as amusing to you as it is to me. And then my dog clicking around on the exercise equipment in the background isn't super annoying. So Johnny Depp is like this really sweet, quiet, loving, doting character, and he's really obsessed with like creating this loving environment for his animals, especially since this whole thing went down with Amber Heard and his dogs. And he always has like the perfect tea Dr. Zayas and a different kind of tea to Johnny Depp's dog who gets like nauseous. So he's like, here's your peppermint tea. And he's just a really sweet, loving character. Monkey Depp goes between being he's a big know-it-all. He's like a knower or maker-upper of all things. And, his other persona, he's got like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing. And when he's like Mr. Hiding it up, his appearance changes. He starts wearing like costumes from Johnny Depp's various films. Everybody loves Johnny Depp, like in real life and in this TV show, including the monkey who what can be seen like writing like mean messages, mean texts from Johnny Depp's phone to Amber Heard when he gets wasted, and then he doesn't remember anything, and he thinks that Johnny Depp is writing those mean messages, and Johnny, more importantly, thinks that he's writing those messages. So he's like, oh my god, I can't believe I said that, Amber, I'm so sorry. And Amber's obviously just awful. So Johnny Depp throughout the show has this, like, his conscious desires are to, one, perform as a musician at the Super Bowl, because Johnny Depp actually came to LA, he came to Hollywood for a career in music, which obviously ended up being like the most talented actor of all time instead. But in the show, he still really wants to be a musician, and he considers himself like a bit of a struggling musician, and he's doing this like whole movie thing on the side while he pursues his ambition to be a musician who performs at the Super Bowl. And his agent is my good friend Eddie Pepitone, who is a hilarious comedian. And Eddie's character is always like smoking a cigar, and he kind of feels like old-timey Hollywood. And he considers himself a failure as well, because he hasn't been able to get Johnny Depp the role that he wants at the Super Bowl. Sorry for that interruption. The muse for the show wanted to leave the room. So I think I was talking about Eddie's character, and this is just like a fun side note story of why I even decided to make this episode, which is, if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you know I'm all about like collapsing timelines and sort of quantum leaping into new realities. And I was actually able to do that with Eddie, who has been one of my all-time favorite comedians for years now. His special In Ruins is like hilarious. I think I've seen it, or sometimes listen to it on Spotify and road trips, like probably 30 times. It's the comedy show that I have listened to the most in my entire life. I love Eddie, and I loved him way before we were friends, and now he's like one of my nearest and dearest friends. So that's just one example of me being able to like quantum leap and collapse timelines into like, I literally wrote down, I want to be friends with Eddie Pepitone before the end of the year, and within 2 weeks it happened. So I know that sounds like bananas, and it was, but I was like, I wonder if I make this video about Johnny Depp, can I quantum leap, collapse timelines, and like cross timelines with either Johnny Depp or someone who can help me make this ridiculous show a reality. So that is the inspiration for today's video, and we will see if that happens. So if you happen to know Johnny Depp, please send him my love. I would never do you like that, Johnny, by the way. I didn't even realize that you had gotten blacklisted, because I love you. And I think we should make the show together. Or let's get married, but only if we want to have like a lot of babies immediately, because it's kind of important to me. And the ticking time he wants to figure out how to make his relationship with Amber Heard work, right? Those are his conscious desires, and the obstacles that get in the way are, everyone perceiving him as an actor instead of a musician. Amber is a big obstacle to his unconscious desire, which is to understand and heal his childhood wounds so that he can break up with Amber and pursue a more peaceful and empowering romance. Hey, Johnny. And life. By the way, Johnny, these are scars from a burn recently. It's not what it looks like, I swear. You can see my episode on exploring the subconscious to hear a lot of inappropriate jokes about that. Anyway, the point is, what is the point? Those are Johnny's desires, and the dog's desires, the dog, like I said, is filled with this lament, and he also has these memory problems which are not helped by Monkey Depp or Dr. Zayas. Remember, they're one and the same. So the monkey has the dog convinced that all of these memories that he has and that come through in his dreams are not real, and that the whole world is just the trailer and the two rooms connected to the trailer. So there's two doors that lead outside of the trailer, and one room they call the work room, and that's the main door. It leads to whatever set they're on. And the monkey has the dog convinced that that's just one big room, that they can change a lot. So sometimes they're in a tundra or a desert, and he's like, wow, Hollywood is amazing. and the monkey's like, right. And then there's the back door, and when people leave out the back door, they don't ever come back. And so the monkey has the dog convinced that if you leave out the back door, you're just dead and you never come back and you don't exist anymore. And that's because life without Johnny isn't worth living. So Winona Ryder went out the back door, she never came back. God rest her soul. And the monkey is obsessed with Winona Ryder and the romance that should be between Johnny Depp and Winona Ryder. And remember, the monkey is lying, so he knows Winona Ryder's still alive, and that going out the back door doesn't equal death. So he texts Winona Ryder when he's all hammered, all these sweet nothings, and that's a point of contention for the relationship of Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. She's like, you were Winona again, and he's like, I swear to God, I didn't remember that, I'm so sorry. And that's because it was that tricky monkey. So the dog, he wants to go on adventures and have all these experiences, and these adventures and experiences are validated by different pictures that are up around the trailer of Johnny and the two dogs. The dog that we know, Jacques, and his mom, who's no longer with us. And that's actually based on a true story too, because when I got my dog, he had never been outside before, and the reason he had never been outside is because his mother was hit by a car and killed when he was 10 days old, and they were just scared to let the puppies outside. So when he went outside, he was shaking, and I used to have to hold him like this, with the leash way out, and he would try to climb up me the whole time. He was scared of everything. He was scared of grass. It only took about 2 weeks to turn him into an epic adventure dog, and that's what's gonna happen in the show, Johnny Depp's The Adventures of Johnny Depp's Dog. So I have lots of pages of notes just because I have the worst memory in the world. I think I've told you about all this. Oh, the trailer is decorated in a variety of rich, bold colors and textures, and this classic bohemian inspired, very Johnny Depp feeling. And he's got all these amazing artifacts from the adventures of Johnny Depp's dog and Johnny Depp, because they used to go everywhere together before he became paranoid about the dog. getting killed by Amber Heard, I guess. And Amber Heard is the only one who can go in and out the back door because the monkey says this is just further proof that she's an undead demon. I'm sorry if this is offensive to someone, but I think this is hilarious, and I know that most of this channel is my woo-woo, very loving, compassionate side, and I am so all of that. But before I was all of that, I was a disappointed optimist comedian, and I came up with these ideas before I got, while I was first getting really into the deep spiritual shadow work that has made me not very funny at all anymore. I used to do really good stand-up. I don't think I could anymore. I just don't think I'm that funny because I don't think I'm that upset. So what am I even talking about? So this is why I love ASMR, because you can just be rambly and go on tangents, and that's part of the journey and the fun for everyone, I think. So, the artifacts. So there's Hunter S. Thompson's typewriter is there, Hitler's skull is there, the Holy Grail is there, and Johnny Depp, that's his go-to wine glass, the Golden Fleece, just all these things. And as the characters later go on other adventures, they'll be getting more stuff, and Johnny Depp will send it back to the trailer, and Dr. Zayas will get it and position it all around the trailer because he stays in the trailer, but Johnny Depp doesn't, so I'll get to that in a minute. So after so we see the breaking news of Johnny Depp's trailer is moving, and it cuts to what's happening inside the trailer. Johnny Depp is wearing shawls and lots of eyeliner and his little spectacles, and he's serving tea, for the different animals, different ailments, and then it goes back to the news thing, and it's and in other news, Bernie Sanders won the primary, and the Democratic National Convention is pissed. The actual news is just this little tiny afterthought. So in that first episode, you meet a character. Everybody meets a character for the first time called Bush Baby, and Bush Baby is a bush baby, which Google that if you have to. It's a little marsupial, I think, and he loves Johnny Depp, and Johnny Depp is his emotional support person, but Johnny Depp doesn't know that he's Bush Baby's emotional support person because he's fine when he's around Johnny Depp, but when Johnny Depp leaves, he's shaking and he's super anxious, and he quickly gets diagnosed by the monkey as having panic attacks, generalized anxiety disorder, agoraphobia, trichotillomania, all these different things, half of which the monkey actually has. The monkey is an agoraphobe, and the monkey pulls out his eyebrow hairs, and the monkey, yeah. But he's not wrong about the Bush Baby also having these things. So he quickly is oh, hold on, I've got the perfect thing for your, I've got prescriptions for you. And he breaks out pills that say that they belong to Amber Heard, Tim Burton, Helena Bonham Carter, all these people in Johnny Depp's world. He's take one of these and then that and this and that. And the Bush Baby's nervous, and he doesn't want to take the stuff. And then of course I gotta tell you more about the actual main character, Johnny Depp's dog, who has this it's actually about him. And so I said before that it's kind of inspired by Wilfred, and the Elijah Wood character in this show is Johnny Depp's dog. And so his conscious desire is to go on these adventures and have experiences and just cultivate more meaning in his life. He's filled with this existential angst, and he's very artistic and creative, and he wants to fill his well of inspiration very disappointed optimist. He's me. He's me when I was funny. Oh, that's another thing. Johnny Depp's character is like very quiet, but he's also very funny. But people don't usually hear his jokes because as much as everyone thinks that they like love Johnny Depp, no one's actually listening to him or paying attention to him. It's like a funny to me motif throughout the whole show. So that's his conscious desire. But through the adventures that he ends up having, he realizes that what he really wanted was to learn and understand and apply the meaning of life, which is his love, because he's a dog, with his loved ones and the shared experiences. And so he goes out and he experiences the whole world, and he has these epic adventures, and at first they really feed his soul, and he's like making this amazing art because of it, and he's going outside of just poetry, and he's painting, and he's learning all these new different skills. And then there's like a turning point halfway through the series where he realizes, like, I got to find Johnny Depp because all of this is meaningless without him. So why does he go out into the world to begin with? I'm glad you asked. So Johnny Depp, one day he gets in a fight with Amber Heard over the phone or something. She's not allowed in the trailer anymore as part of Johnny Depp's to cultivate security for his animals. So they get into a fight, and Johnny Depp leaves out the back door, and the dog's like, Johnny Depp, no. And at first the dog doesn't go out, right? He's like pacing around the room, and he's just like, I don't know what to do. Oh my god, Johnny Depp's gone. He's not gonna make it. Like, nobody ever comes back from the outside world. And the dog and the monkey's like, don't leave, you can't leave, because if Johnny Depp's dog leaves, he'll be stuck there with the bush baby, who's like not fun to hang out with. He's just a wreck without Johnny Depp, and the bush baby is like losing his mind at this point. So that's the beginning of his like dilemma, and then it doesn't take too long because he's a dog and he's very loyal and present and all the wonderful things dogs are. So he's like, I'm doing it. I'm going to the outside world. I'm either gonna die trying to find Johnny Depp, or I'm going to come back with Johnny Depp. And so he goes out into the world, and Johnny Depp has a cologne made by Dior that is what am I trying to say? Like a fragrance that mimics Johnny Depp's like natural odor, right? In the show, I think he does have a thing with Dior, but I don't think that's what he really smells like it without cologne. Anyway, so the dog is like, and sometimes he'll get led astray and he'll find someone who's just wearing the cologne, but for the most part, he's always like one step behind Johnny Depp. And Johnny Depp goes on this like when Dave Chappelle left the Chappelle Show and he went on this like spiritual thing to Africa, or like more recently Will Smith, you know, he goes in search of like a spiritual guru, and it like a spirit journey, goes on a spirit journey. And again, he wants, his conscious desire is to like center himself, work on his inner engineering so he can make his relationship with Amber work and secure his position as the musician for the Super Bowl. But really what he wants is like the inner engineering to enjoy a more peaceful and empowering life with the people who really do love him, his dog and his monkey, and probably his kids too. I feel like there were other characters, but I can't remember all of them, which is like such a bummer. So is that, yeah, I don't know, that might be everything. So they go on their adventures, and Johnny Depp's dog is always one step behind him, and at the end, so they have all these different adventures, which honestly I can't remember like any of. There is a psychic I remember who's kind of like Professor Dwani in Harry Potter, because she seems like a total fraud, and Johnny Depp's dog meets her because Johnny Depp goes to her. Oh my god, I just remembered. So Johnny Depp goes to the psychic. It's the first place he goes when he leaves the trailer, and then the dog ends up going to the psychic, and Johnny Depp has just been there, and Johnny Depp gets a piece of advice that seems like complete rubbish but actually makes total sense in hindsight, and the same thing happens for the dog, and she's a recurring character, and she had a whole storyline that I can't remember, but if someone wants to pay me money to come up with this, I'm sure I could do it again. And yeah, through these adventures, they both come to realize that they already had everything that they could ever want. They just didn't have the perspective they needed to appreciate it, which, like, life be that way. And yeah, those are the adventures of Johnny Depp's dog. I think that's all I wanted to say. I will, since you made it to the end, share with you a couple of personal experiences with Johnny Depp. And I know what you're thinking, like, oh my god, Yvette, you have personal experiences with Johnny Depp and you waited till the end to tell us about it. No, that would have been the beginning, but I have hearsay experiences. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what inspired a deepening of my love for Johnny Depp. So obviously, as an 80s baby, who, like, Tim Burton was my favorite director when I was 5 years old. I loved Batman's Return. I loved Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I loved Edward Scissorhands. Like, those were my favorite movies as a tiny, tiny kid. And I didn't know what a director was, but I knew that the link between all of them was this Tim Burton. So I have always loved Tim Burton films. I have always loved Johnny Depp. And God, he's so talented, and like still to this day, I think he's like probably the most beautiful human that's ever existed. In fact, here's my first personal story, which is not very personal, but when I was studying undergrad approximately 2 million years ago, we learned about the psych study where they showed women pictures of men, and they're like, this guy or that guy, that guy or that guy, this guy or that guy. And it's like this one, that one, this one, that one, that one. And they made an amalgamation of the perfect man at the end of this experiment, and he looks just like Johnny Depp. Like, bitches like Johnny Depp, and I would know because I'm bitches. I think the standard of beauty has changed a little bit, and like younger people don't love Johnny Depp as much as anyone who was born in like before 1994. I don't know. Maybe that's the thing. Go ahead and tell me in the comments below if you get it. You get it. And God, I just love Johnny Depp. Which is like my first thing about this whole thing with Amber Heard. It's like, do you not understand psychology at all? Like, it is so hard to get someone to change their mind. It is called cognitive dissonance, and even if Johnny Depp was a total wife beater, I would have a really hard time accepting that reality. Luckily for me, all of the evidence seems to point to a lot of holes in Amber Heard's story, her stories, and a lot of evidence that actually she is the abuser in this situation, which, again, if you know anything about psychology, and this actually came up in the trial, and I was like, yeah, the woman who, what is she? She's like a psychologist, a forensic psychologist, I think, and she said, you know, Amber Heard looks like she has histrionic personality disorder and borderline personality disorder. She also said it's really common, and I've been saying this ever since the allegations first came out, it's common for women who abuse men to accuse that man of being abusive. So that's really sad. That's not something you ever want to be right about, but it looks like that's what's happened. Okay, I will go ahead and say I have no idea what the true details of the relationship between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp were, and in fact, I have dated a famous person, and we had some ugly stuff in our relationship, and his fans were less than kind to me, and a lot of them believed him because he's beautiful and famous. So I know personally what it's like to date someone who people believe, even though they're not telling the truth, which is neither here nor there. The point is, what is the point? Personal stories about Johnny Depp. You made it this far, you deserve that. So my first personal story comes from a cousin of mine who worked at a bar and restaurant that was attached to like a really fancy hotel in Chicago. And she's working one night, and Johnny Depp and Vanessa, the mother of his children, come, and they're like, we want to have like wine and just hang out, whatever. I think they had wine and appetizer, and they were like, of course, oh my god, welcome. And they didn't want to be like, gawked at, so they set them up in an empty ballroom, and a server served them in this empty ballroom. And this Johnny Depp tipped this server $4,000. They got a bottle of wine and like one appetizer, and he tipped him $4,000. And that is when, about 15 years ago, I coined the phrase, what would Johnny do? Because I'm like, oh my god, he's such an amazing guy. That's like a life-changing amount of money for some people. I would be one of them right now. 15 years ago, I actually had a lot more money, and it wouldn't have changed my life, but now it would. So if you want to give anyone $4,000, Johnny Depp, I'm right here. So that's my first personal Johnny Depp story. Second personal Johnny Depp story. I had another one. Oh, what would Johnny do? Back to the first one. So that's when I coined the phrase, what would Johnny do? And then he paid all of Nicolas Cage's debt when he declared bankruptcy, which was like, oh my god, Johnny, seriously. And he did that presumably because Nicolas Cage is like the reason he even got into acting, but still he didn't have to do that. Like, he just seems like a really good guy. And again, when that happened, I was like, see, I've been telling y'all, what would Johnny do? I'm gonna get t-shirts made. And then this last week, I like almost killed myself trying to get these stupid t-shirts made that said, what would Johnny do? And I had a couple different designs with different slogans, all inspired by Johnny Depp. And then Cafe Press, which I have come to absolutely loathe, banned each one of my designs one at a time. And they said it's because I put the hashtag Johnny Depp, and they make you put a tag. I didn't want to put any tag. And I was like, okay, so if I re-upload the designs and like redo everything, is that going to be okay? And they were like, we can't confirm or deny that. So I was like, forget you, Cafe Press, and I'm not making those shirts. So if you want to make those shirts, I want to buy one. Or should I make the shirt? Should I do it again? It took like days of effort, and I would have to find a whole new company to do it with because F Cafe Press. And the unfortunate thing is the reason why I picked Cafe Press, they're way more expensive than like all the other print-on-demand places. But they actually make clothes that like look like they would fit a woman. So if you know of a print-on-demand company that makes shirts with the actual female figure in mind, please let me know, and maybe I will upload all of my hilarious designs and let you guys know about it. What else? Other personal Johnny Depp story I have, and this one definitely might not have happened. Sorry, there was like some extracurricular noise in the background. So this story comes from when I was working at a nightclub in Los Angeles, and I met a gal there who said, this is like so many layers removed. This is like hearsay of hearsay. So I'm definitely not saying this is true, but the story goes that someone was on a private jet with Johnny Depp and a few other people, and they were smoking weed, and the private jet was filled with smoke, and the pilot was like, I can't drive, like, you guys have to stop smoking, I can't fly the plane, I'm getting high. And Johnny Depp was like, no problem, man, just land at the next airport, we'll find another pilot who has a tolerance for weed. I have no idea if that's true or not, but that is the story that I heard. I think that's it for my personal Johnny Depp stories. So anyway, thank you for listening to this entire ridiculous whisper ramble about the adventures of Johnny Depp's dog. If you know Johnny Depp, please give him my phone number and tell him I am looking to reproduce immediately. So if he wants to have a boring, peaceful life where he can be empowered to be the main musician at the Super Bowl, I'm your girl. Yeah, if he wants to just make a really boring change and hang out with someone who like cooks and cleans and meditates, Johnny, I am here. I will happily drink your tea and watch movies, not your movies, because I hear you don't watch your movies, and grow old with you, especially if you want to give me a baby, or if you just want to be friends and make the adventures of Johnny Depp's dog a reality. I have ideas for how we can do it without defaming Amber Heard. Let me know. Or if you know a talent agent or manager or someone, a producer, who might want to steal this idea, I will be a part of the creative team for a very nominal fee of getting to shake Johnny Depp's hand again. Just let me know. Yeah, and other than that, this trial has been absolutely bananas. Again, none of us can know for certain what the truth with a capital T is, but my money's on Johnny. I think there's a lot of evidence of Amber being abusive and dishonest, and I just hope that wherever the truth is where justice decides in favor of, because yeah, it's just been a really heartbreaking experience, it sounds like, for everybody involved. I mean, even if Amber is like super guilty, she seems pretty obviously like mentally, emotionally, spiritually not okay, and I hope that she gets help, and I hope that Johnny's name gets cleared and he gets to be in movies again, and they make another Pirates, because those were great, and I don't know, all of it, I just good things for everybody. Thank you so much for joining me in this very ridiculous, super important episode of ASMR